I had an incident on. Remember Friday? We went to my daughter's cross country meet, and this is
Out
state
of town.
Out of town. Hour and 20-minute drive, harrowing drive. A lot of traffic on the road.
Mm-hmm. Who did the driving?
My wife on the way there, and myself on the way back. And in the middle of it, I was asleep on the drive there. I was sleeping in the passenger seat, and my dog.
Daddy needs a nappy.
I told her. I said,
so who's in the vehicle?
Wife in the driver's seat, me in passenger seat. Daughter was already there. She went on the bus.
Right.
With the team.
She's with the team. A dog in lap, dog in back seat?
Back seat.
In the harness?
Yes. In her seatbelt. Well, apparently, an hour into this drive while I was sleeping, the dog gnawed through her seatbelt and appeared between us, like right on the gear shift. So my wife said, "Oh, my God, Jesus!" And that's
Here's Johnny.
And I woke up, and we're just like, I mean, we were all across 2 or 3 lanes of traffic. She goes, "Oh my God!" And she goes, grab the dog." And I said, "What? Why is the dog?" The dog was right, and I felt her on me. I was like, "Oh my God!" So I had to hold the dog the rest of the way.
Now, darling.
Oh,
the wife's here. In your half sleep.
Terrible. Yeah. Oh my God, it was terrible. And then at the event itself, I told her the dog should not be going. This is an hour and a half drive there and back. But, you
love the I told you so.
I said the dog ought not be here. Now, then, while we're at the cross-country meet, I'm sitting on my lawn chair, on my camp chair, which we sat down at the finish line, and the dog is on the leash next to me. Well, dog chewed through leash, and all of a sudden the dog is... What in the world?
Now you got a loose animal.
Well, I had to grab her and hold her the rest of the time. So I'm holding my cockapoo, stroking my cockapoo at this cross-country event, and everybody sees it. It's terrible. And they're like, "Don't you have a leash for that dog?" I said, "No, the leash is broken."
Leash law. People looking at you like,
"Oh, I know."
Oh yeah. Well, they don't believe you they think you really don't. That you really just carried around without a leash.
Exactly. Yeah. So I look like one of these guys.
You look like a loon.
You look like a scofflaw or
a loon.
Yeah.
You're like that the monkey guy. Yeah. That's not my cockapoo. That's my
daughter. Yeah, that's right. Is your daughter here? I'm holding her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding my daughter.
Is she in the race?
No.
Well, one of them is.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so it was terrible. Anyhow, that wasn't even the most...
Do we need newer leashes?
I was surprised that she chewed through that. Now, the leash she chewed through was... And she's never exhibited that behavior before.
Yeah, that's weird.
This is disturbing.
I was surprised. And the leash is one of those that, you could allow her to go at 10 feet or 3 feet, And good. I mean, we'd used it for a year. And she chewed through it, and I just looked at my wife and said, "Look at this now. Look what has happened here."
You had 2 barrels of ammunition.
I did twice. I said, "That's why this dog does not belong." She goes, "Don't you talk about her like that. That's a member of our family."
She can hear you.
That's right.
I know. I'm well aware.
Now but the worst part of it. This is why my wife and I didn't speak on the way back. This is a girls cross country meet. And I was watching, first there were the middle school girls and then the high school girls, okay? So we get there, we've got the lawn chairs, the camp chairs.
How many participants in a cross-country race?
The state meet, so I was
going to say states.
Over 100. I mean,
my gosh.
A ton, yeah. That's
really?
Right. Oh, yes. And so what we do is sit our camp chairs right at the finish line. And when my daughter takes off, I do my Wordle for 30 minutes. Oh, there's a picture of me holding the dog. My wife has just sent a photograph of me stroking my cockapoo.
God, the angles.
I look really old.
That's a good one, too.
I look really old. There's another one. I had to carry. And you see her festooned there with her collar.
Oh, my God.
That's what even
God.
The dog is like, I just want to go home, too.
So does the man.
We both
thinking the same thing.
We both chewed through our restraints to try to get through.
Yeah.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? I mean, we drove an hour and a half to sit for 30 minutes and see my daughter for 30 seconds as she left and came back.
I've never been to a cross-country meet. Is the start line the finish line?
A lot of times at the same spot.
Okay.
In this one, they were probably 100 yards apart. But we got there on the finish line. And unbeknownst to us, it was like a loop, so they crossed through.
Oh, even better. So you see her more.
See her twice. So I saw her a total of about 30 seconds. And then at the end, we took a picture together, and and then we was like, all right, let's get on home.
Yep.
Carry your cockapoo.
Get on the bus.
That's right.
Carry that chicken dog. Whatever it is.
Did you see she fashioned that collar?
Oh, yeah.
You see that? That's team colors.
Oh, yeah.
She fashioned that the night before. Remember I told you? Dog was going to be festooned. Okay, here's where I really got in trouble. While the middle school race was running, I was sitting there, and we got our spots early, and I'm sitting there on a beautiful day. Well, about 10, 17, 18-year-old girls stood right in front of me to cheer on their teammates, their middle school teammates. And I'm sitting, and they're standing.
Is there a rope line?
No.
Like dividing the course from the spectators?
There is. Yes, there is. And they were right up on the rope, and I was about 3 feet back from the rope, sitting.
Stroking my cockapoo.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And these girls are right in front of me. And then, they're there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then they move on. After the race is over, they move on. And my wife turned to me and said, "Don't think I didn't see you staring at those girls' asses."
What?
I said, well, what am I supposed to do? They're right in my face. And these girls, of course,
Wordle.
I already finished the word. I finished the Wordle already.
Well, do a Sudoku.
What was your starter word? Teens? What?
Asses. Why is your starter word asses?
A-S-S-E-S?
Yeah, A-S-S-E-S.
That's a terrible starter word.
Why is your starter word asses? You use S 3 times. Don't you dare. Don't you dare tell me you weren't
No
starting
Wordle starting with asses.
I broke my streak. I didn't get Wordle because I started with ass and used S 3 times. That's an awful starting word. She goes, "Don't you dare sit here and tell me you didn't stare at those girls' asses. I watched you stare at those girls' asses." Well,
What?
I didn't know. How could I?
These girls are in great shape. They're cross-country runners, and their asses are hanging out. They're right in front of me. I'm just sitting right there. It's like stroking my cockapoo.
And they're like, "A puppy!" Oh, my God, a puppy! Oh, yeah.
That's right. Then these girls run across there. They strip down to their sports bras and their little shorty shorts. And I said, what am I supposed to do? I mean, they're only 18. That's the thing. I can't listen. But I was sitting at max, and I'm sitting there in the camp chair. I thought, you want to feel like a dirty old man. Stroke your cockapoo while 10, 18, 17-year-old at a girls' cross-country meet, and there they are standing in front of you, asses out, and you playing your Wordle all at the same time.
Spot me while I do a split. I got to get a drink from the refreshment stand.
You want to feel like an absolute perv, let this happen, and you're sitting there, and...
So the ride home was icy?
Oh, yeah, big time. And on the way home, she's like, "You're driving." I was like, "Oh, okay." But I said, "I've been working." She goes, "We've all been working. Here are the keys. Let's go." And then it did that anyway. So,
well, how did your daughter do? How did you say?
She got her personal record, so that was good. We were happy with that. Middle of the pack. We're hoping next year she really excels.
And how did she place within her team? I think you said 7 or 8 members. Maybe?
She was toward the end of her team. Okay, I mean she's all right, like 6th.
But it's her first year on the team.
Yes, and then here's how she's got that real go get 'em spirit. Apparently the course was somewhat tough. This is the first time we'd ever been there, of course. And so when she got done, she walked over. She goes, "I am never running that course again, ever." And I said, "But States will be here next year." And she said, "Well, then I'm not going to be here." And I said, "Yes, but you remember we're striving to be better next year." And she said, "Well, I'm not stepping on that course again. I can tell you that. It's too hilly. There were too many hills in there." I said, "Well, but hills are part of it." She goes, "Oh, not for this girl. Not for me."
She's a flat tracker?
She's a flat tracker. And when there's hills, plus she had issues. Bowels, how you get nervous beforehand. And she shared that with me.
Don't say that.
Well, she said before, how you always go to the bathroom before a big run to me. And I was like, "Oh, yes, I can go ahead and tell you."
Did her boyfriend make an appearance?
No, he had a baseball thing, so he was at the other end of the state. That's how it is with these teens now. They're everywhere.